Hello and welcome to Mastering Microsoft Excel video series. This is video number 2. In this video, we are going to understand how do you prepare a report by entering the data, and how do you format your report to look good, and how do you save your workings, and how do you print it as a report. Before we go ahead and start creating the report, there are a few basics we have to quickly understand. So I want you to go ahead and open the Excel I've given you in the downloaded link. You can download that Excel and you can work with me. If not, you can open a blank Excel and you can also take notes and work along with me also. Either way, I'm perfectly fine. So let's get into the video and let's open the Excel. When you want to prepare a report in Excel, there are a few things we have to understand quickly. First, where am I going to enter the data? Obviously inside these small boxes, which we call it as cells. So these cells are nothing but the smallest part in the Excel. So this is where we capture the data, and your Excel always stores your data in the form of a table. So when we talk about tables, obviously we have rows and columns. So how the rows are represented by the numbers, you can see these numbers. So there are almost 10,48,576 rows you have in Excel, and the columns are represented by the letters A, B, C, D, and you have 16,384 columns in Excel, and the rows and columns are kept inside the worksheet. So your cells are the, if you go to any particular cell, it will always have a name for it, and that name is a combination of column and row. So here, when I select this cell, it is in the column H and it is in the row 2. So the cell where I am clicking right now, the name for that cell or address for the cell is called H2. So when I say please type something in the J3 cell, so you need to go to the J3 and you have to go there and start typing. Yeah, so that's the cell address. So your cells are available as a combination of rows and columns, and these rows and columns and cells are all present inside the worksheet. You can see here it's like pages in a notebook, or if you're a Microsoft Word user, then it's like pages in the document. If you're a PowerPoint user, it's like slides in the PowerPoint. So for Excel, it is worksheet, and the worksheet, there will be multiple worksheets. All these will be inside a file. We don't call it as Excel file. The actual technical name for Excel file is workbook. Yeah. So this is the family hierarchy in Excel. So whenever you want to uh, prepare a report, first of all, you should know which file you want to do it, and which sheet you want to do it, and from which row, which column you're going to do. All those are very basic. So these terms you should be very clear. Workbook refers to the file. Worksheet is referring to the things which we have here at the bottom. Yeah, so you might have one sheet, you might have multiple sheets. It depends on the file which you're working. Whenever you want to create a sheet, you can use this plus signs to create new sheets. Then the sheets will be inside the workbook. Now those are the basics. Now let's get into this particular part. What is this two type of tables, vertical table and horizontal table? See, when you are preparing a report, there are only two type of tables in Excel world. One is called vertical, another one is called horizontal. I've given you example here. 90 to 95% of our tables are vertical. Rest will be horizontal. The vertical table would be looking like this. For example, if you see here, these are the headers under which we are capturing the informations vertically. So that's why I've given you the arrow direction also. And the headers will be kept in the column wise. Yeah. But whereas if you take horizontal table, these kind of tables, you could have seen it when you have gone for purchasing something in the online retailers like Amazon, Flipkart. Yeah. So these are the headers which are kept in row wise, but the information against each header is captured in the column wise. Yeah. So headers will be in row, data will be in column. That is horizontal table. Headers will be in column, data will be in row, that is vertical table. Yeah. So understand, when you look at a data structure, you should know it's a vertical or horizontal. Excel works perfectly on vertical data structure. So vertical data structures are the most user friendly for Excel. If you have horizontal data structures, certain features of Excel will not work for it. So you might have to convert that horizontal into vertical. Okay, which we will be seeing in video number 3, while we guys are going to learn the concept or the tool called Base Special. Okay, right now let's not jump into it, but remember, the most preferred one is vertical structure always. Now, once you got that basics right now, let's start preparing the reports. I'm going to click on the plus sign to create our first report. The context what we're going to take here is the example we're going to take. Remember, I told you in the introduction video, the examples will be professional examples, corporate examples. So the example we're going to take here is, you are going to prepare a training report. This training report will have the informations like which employee has attended it, which department he is from, what training he has attended, when, which date he has attended, from what time to what time he attended, because we need to know whether it's a full day training, half day training, or a certain number of hours training. So we need to know the time as well, the start and end time of the training, and what's the improvement he has given in terms of percentage, how much percentage has improved after attending the assessment. So for every training, there is an assessment conducted as well. So we want to capture the assessment scores and then derive the percentage of improvement. Yeah. So let's go and start tracking this data. So it's a vertical table layout. So we're going to start keying the first column, which is employee ID. That's the first one I want to track. And the employee name, I'm going to quickly do it. Employee name, and then department. We want to know what date he has attended, the start timing, and end time, and assessment, pre-assessment score, post-assessment score, and improvement percentage. Yeah. I can see certain columns are not showing us the complete word. So that means you have to adjust the column width. Column width can be adjusted, row height can be adjusted. Okay. How do you adjust a column width or row height? Is if you go between the columns, you will see a two-headed arrow like this. When I keep the mouse between A and B, so this, when you click and drag, you can adjust the column width. So I'm going to do that. For employee name, I need a little bigger space. A department, I need a decent space. Start time and end time. This one is pretty big. So I'm going to say, instead of me sitting and dragging, I can also double click when I see that two-headed arrow. It automatically fits that column to hold that entire text what we have keyed. So I want to go between the H and the I. The moment I see the double-headed arrow, double click and it fits it. Same way I'm going to go ahead and do it for the other one. You can even do that for the entire row, but I'm going to do this in certain places manually. Yeah. So now we have done this. Now we need to go ahead and start keying in the data. But before you start keying in the data, what's the next best practice you have to be very clear about, apart from basics, is what type of information I'm going to capture. So employee ID is going to be a number, and employee name is a text, department is also a text, but date of training is a date type of value, start time and end time is a time value, and score is a number. Post assessment score is also number, and the improvement is going to be in percentage. So before you start capturing the information, it is very important first you select the area and make sure that area takes only those type of values. You format that area and then start keying in, so that your life will be easier when you start keying the values. So what I'm going to do is, these are the cells I want to type. So I'm going to select let's say a few cells. Look at the way I'm selecting, holding my left click and coming down, or you can select one cell, hold your shift key and press the down arrow key one at a time. Don't continuously hold it, it will keep running. Just press one. So how many rows do we want? I'll select it. Then how do I set this area should take a number? How do I set that? So once you select it, in home tab under the number group, you can see a drop down here, and this gives me a different formats. Okay, so which format you want to apply for that selected cells, it is asking. I want it to be a number, so I'm going to click number. Okay, employee name and department, so I'm going to select them, shift down arrow. Similarly, I'm going to change, go to that same place, I'm going to choose text. Likewise, I'm going to do it for the department also quickly, and I'm going to say it's a text. And date, I have to go to the drop down, but I got two options here, short date and long date. Short date is just the date, like what do you see at the bottom right corner of your computer. Longer date is like it comes along with the day name also, like Sunday, Monday, and your month name comes with the full text, all those. But I don't want such a bigger date format. I just need a normal date format, so I'm going to go for short date. Okay, start time and end time. So I want to select these two. So shift, right click, sorry, right arrow once and then down arrow multiple times until I go to the row up to which I want to have the format. Go here. These two columns will be time format. Then pre-assessment score and post-assessment score. These two will be a simple number. So we're going to go here and select number. Improvement percentage is going to be in percentage. So we're going to go to the drop down and choose percentage. Certain formats are shown to you in form of symbols over here. You can even click them and get it done. But right now, since we are in learning phase, we're going to do this manually. So let's go ahead and type just 2 rows of data. And once you complete that, we'll do some formatting and we'll make this report more professional. And we will also see what challenges you will face when you go for printing it. Okay, so let's start. Let's say the first employee ID is 1001. Employee name. Oh, what's it? I typed 1001, but it comes along with the 2 decimals. Okay, right now I'm not worrying about it. We will handle that finally. So what's the name? The name of the person is Hariharan. And department is HR. The date on which he has attended the program is 24th January 2024. The start time of the program was morning 9 o'clock and it ended at evening 5 o'clock. And the assessment score, the person scored was reassessment was really worst. So I scored only 5. And the post assessment I did really well. So I scored 12. We kept the assessment for 15 marks out of 15 these are. So improvement, I have to calculate this as a percentage, which is I'm gonna calculate 12 minus 5, and I have to see what's the improvement. Say 700. So we have to divide this, take the difference and divide this by the pre-assessment. Why do I put bracket for the subtraction? Because I want the subtraction should happen first and then the division. Is our calculation is right. 12 minus 5. It says 140, so it should be like 1 minus 4. Get to, but somewhere we're missing it. Is it right? Are we calculating it right? We need to find it out. So dividing it by 2. So that shows how much percentage we have improved compared to the test. So let's say if this is 10, yeah, so 50% we have improved. So which is right. So the calculation is perfect. Making mistake is very common while you guys are preparing the report. Don't worry about it. The best way of learning is always making mistakes, but make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes. That's it. Okay, so our calculations are perfect. We have tested it as well. Now we need to do a couple of changes. Yeah. So this, I don't want decimals. How do I get rid of decimals? So I select the cell where I don't want the decimal. I go to the Home tab, Number Group. Here is the option to increase the decimals or decrease the decimals. I can decrease the decimals so that I don't want decimals. Even here for the assessment also, I'm going to do the same thing. I don't need the decimals. For the percentage, I'm perfectly fine. It should come along with the decimal. So I'm going to key in the next person same way. So let's say next person 1, and he is from finance division, finance department, and he attended the program on 19th February, and he attended from morning 7 o'clock till evening 3 o'clock. So evening, right? So it is 15. And the pre-assessment score, he did 7 out of 15, and he got 14 out of 10. So I want the same formula, but instead of me typing with formula, I can simply go to this right and bottom corner, drag it. The formula will get dragged. Yeah. The formula will get copied even to the next cell when you drag it from the previous one. Now we need this thing to be done here also. I can do this again by selecting these, or I can do this in a different way as well. So what we can do, we can, because we're going to key in a lot of information here, we can select the entire column. So I clicked on the letter G, and holding my control key, I'm clicking on the letter H. So both got selected. Now I can go ahead and put this in where I don't want this decimals. I'm going to decrease these decimals. See, it's not. So let's not letting me do it. So there's something mistake we are doing. Let's do this. Can you see here when you're trying to do something, it's not letting you. So the reason why it's not letting you this time, I'll tell you, because you selected the columns. Now your column has both the text as well as the number. So it does not know what you are trying to do yet. So that's why it's not letting you to do it. So whenever you face such problem, you have to manage this by going to a different place. What is a different place? Watch closely. In this number group, I have this small arrow which is called a dialog box launcher. So I'm going to click on it so that it gives you more options to play. Remember, we selected the number format for these columns, and the reason why we got the decimal is for a number format, the default is always to keep 2 decimals. So this I'm going to make it to 0 and click OK. Now see, it has been done. So likewise, I'm going to go ahead and do it for the employee ID column. See, will it work? No, it's not going to work. So what we have to do, go to the dialog box launcher, go to the format what you have chosen for that column. And if you don't want decimal or if you want to increase or decrease decimals, you can do it over here. So if I have done it, this is the way it's going to. Now I have to make this to look good. So what are the formatting options available for me? These actions, what you did is also formatting, like changing the values to the proper data types is also formatting. What do I mean by the second process is coloring and making it more presentable and more professional. So first of all, I don't want a lot of extra spaces in certain columns. So instead of me sitting and dragging it, I want to do this in a different way. Just let's go to the intersection point of this column and the row. Let's click here and let's go between the two columns. That same two-headed arrow, double click, it automatically fits my columns to the respective content. Now the next thing what I'm going to do is this column header is little bigger and it is taking too much space for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two columns. These two columns I want to select. So I click and hold my control key and I'm selecting both of them. I'm going to reduce these columns size because it's a single digit what we're going to key in here. Yeah. Okay, I reduced it, and once I reduce it, now the headers are not visible. So what I'm going to do to make these headers visible, I'm going to select these two cells and then I go to my home tab, alignment group. I'm going to use wrap text. That's going to put this way. Now I could just adjust this a little bit so that I can make it as a 2-line instead of a 3-line and just adjusting it manually. Yeah. So now after just the row height, so again, I can just double click when I see the two error. Now these are coming to some shape. Why it is showing so big in my screen? Because my zoom, if you see at the bottom right corner, is almost 250%. Normally it will be 100%. So I'm bringing it to 100%. So the way it will look in a normal computer is this one. Because I'm doing it on a video recording just for your convenience, I don't want you guys to strain your eyes. So now we have done this part. I'm going to select this. I can put colors by going here in which tab, home tab, font group. I have a fill button here. I can click this bucket symbol and choose whatever colors I want. And you can see here there are two categories, theme colors and standard colors. If you're sharing the report for the older version peoples, it's always better you pick the colors from the standard color. If you're sending for higher version, no issues. You can use any one, theme color or standard colors, both are perfectly fine. Okay, so this is one way you can apply the color, but Microsoft is also giving you one more help. So if you see here in the home tab, in the styles group, there is something called cell styles. You can go there and you can use the pre-built styles which are kept. So instead of me thinking which will be really good, I can just move the mouse across and see whichever is looking better for me. I can even stop at that particular point. So let's say I feel this is perfectly fine for me. I can stop at this particular point. Yeah. And I am going to select the area where the values are. And then I can go to the same home tab and the font. I have something called border. So I can go ahead and put the border so that when I take the printout, it looks like a table. Else it would look very, like blank. Let me show you. I'm going to undo it by pressing Control Z or Control Z so that it has taken back the earlier action. Now we don't have borders. If I go for printing this, how this would look like if I do not have the border. So where do I go and check how the printout will be? So I can go to my quick access toolbar and there is something called print preview and print. I'm going to activate that and bring it to my quick access toolbar area. So if you are watching this right, jumping directly to this video, if you want to know what is quick access toolbar area, then you can please watch the video number 1 and then you will understand what it is. I'll give you the link for video number 1 as well in the description. So now we have added it. Now let's go ahead and click this one, print preview, and let's see how this looks. Watch it. This is the way it is going to be printed. I told you, when you do not put borders, it is going to be like this kind of report. Second problem you can observe, the report is not captured completely. It's capturing only up to pre-assessment score, not the post-assessment score improvement. It's not captured. So whenever you're printing, what are the things you have to take care? So I'm going to press escape key to come back to our sheet. First of all, I have to know whether it will get printed in an A4 sheet or not. So how do I check that? You can go to the view tab and there is a specific view called page break preview. When you click that page break preview, it will show you. Now I'm going to zoom it for your convenience. It will show you exactly where, up to what column or what row the data will get printed on your paper, in what page the content will come. See here, you can see in gray color it says page 1 and here it says page 2, and you can see a dotted blue line. This is the place where the page is going to break. It's like literally a page break. So I'm thinking, okay, it's not fitting in. So can I do it in landscape? Now it's showing me in portrait. I want to have it in landscape and check whether this will fit into the A4 sheet. So where do I go and change that orientation, portrait to landscape? So that you can do it by going to the page layout, and here under the page setup group, you can see the second button, orientation. Right now what has been chosen is portrait. We're going to go for landscape right now. The moment I click on landscape, you can observe the dotted line went out. That means it says it's perfectly printable in one page. So let's check the print preview this time, how this looks like in A4 sheet. And now you can see, so we still got more space. You can still accommodate certain things. If you need, you can still increase these column width and you can do a little bit modification, but that's how you manage it. Okay, when you go for printing, so first go to page break view. Okay, so I'm going to press escape. So what's the steps I have to follow? Well, while I go for printing, first you have to go to view tab and check in page break preview, see whether it is fitting inside the page. If it is not fitting in, then you can change the orientation. Go to page layout and change the orientation. Even after changing orientation, if it is not fitting in, you can go to this where it says scale to fit, where you can see width and height. You can put them into one page, both of them into one page, but that is something I will not recommend, because when you do that, what will happen is this percentage will go down. What is this percentage is referring? It's actually showing you the actual size of your font. See, what is our font size right now is 11. So when I go and do that scaling, if it comes down to 60%, then the font, what you will see in the paper will be 60% of 11. Like 7 or 6 or 8 is the font size which will get typed and given to you in the paper. So you need to be very cautious. Don't get into the mode of fitting that into paper. Absolutely wrong. If it's not fitting in the landscape, then probably go for the adjustment of width and height. See that the percentage does not go below 85%. Yeah, else you will compromise on the legibility of the report. So whoever is going to look at your report is saying that, hey, it's too much strain on the eyes to look at the numbers. So be smart in choosing it. Suppose if it's not fitting in, then you might have to think, how do you work on this report structure so that it fits into the paper? Yeah. Either you have to restructure the report or go for a bigger paper size. Yeah. Whichever works out for you. So now, I told you that if you put borders, so let's come back to normal view. So we'll come to view and click on normal. We are back to the normal view. If I go ahead and put borders, let's select the data. How do I select the entire data? Let's click anywhere inside and press Control A. That's going to select Control A. Select the entire data. Now go to the Home tab in the font group. Here is your border, different types of borders. The one which is most commonly used is all borders. Now if I go for print preview, look at the difference of applying the border. Now your report looks neat. Yeah. So if you're preparing a report, it's very important it looks professional, presentable. Yeah. So let's press the escape. If you have done this completely, how your report would look. Let me show you a sample. So I've just added few more columns also to show you. So a perfect report would look something like this. Yeah. In this, what are the additional formattings I've done? I've just used the left alignment, center alignment, all these. I'm not going to get into each of those buttons. It's going to be really boring. I'm going to leave it certain things for your practice. So these are these buttons. I want you to practice it and check it out how you can get that. Yeah. So if you see here, this is a bigger report which I have prepared it, and I want you guys to prepare the same. Okay, I've given you the data. You can use that data in the sheet 3. I've given you the data, and you can use that data, do the formatting, and then see how you can bring that. Now watch here. When you practice in sheet 3, there is some challenge I've given to you. What is the challenge I've given to you here? Is watch it. In the date column, it is not in date format. In the time column, it's not in time format. In percentages column, they are not in percentage format. So remember guys, in Excel world, there are only two type of reports. One is manually managed. The person keys in the values and maintains the report. Another one is a system downloaded. So if your organization is using any other application from where you can download, and the download will be in Excel format. So those kind of downloaded reports would look something like this most of the time. They will not come with proper formats and everything. You have to sit and do that format. So let me show you quickly which you got to do that. On the other side is I select the date column, go to the drop down and choose short date. Now we got the date. Time columns, I can go here, click and say time. We got the time. Percentages, I can simply use this symbol, or I can go to the drop down. I can choose percentage here. Anything works out for me perfectly fine. Okay, so that's how you manage it. Now to manage the column width, you can just select, double click, and that fits. And then make sure this fits into the landscape. Okay, that's something which I want you guys to practice and see. All right, so we have come to the end of the video. So in this video, what we understood, whenever you're getting into Excel for preparing reports, you should know it's a vertical data or horizontal data. Most of the time it will be vertical data. And once you decided it, start keying in your headers. Okay, keying the headers, make sure you put the right data type for those respective columns. How do you decide the data types? You can use the drop down options which is under the number group of home tab. So decide what data type these columns are going to have. First apply them and start typing the values. If somebody has given you the data already where you need to do the format, then select the columns and use this drop down and apply the formats. Yeah. So the task for you while you practice, make this sheet 3 and sheet 4 to look like sheet 2, and make sure it gets printed in A4 sheet. Work for that. Okay, I hope you guys can try that and achieve it. And trust me, if you do this, this will be a good exercise for you to get hold to the formatting things, what you have in the font group, in the alignment group, okay, in the number group you'll get, and cell styles, you have a lot here. Try those things and let me know. If you've got any queries, do post it in the comments section. Definitely I'll respond to your query. All right, wish you all the best for the practice. We will connect again in the video number 3. Until then, take care of yourself. Signing off, Hariharan.